Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Before we even get started, drop a bomb on them. Drop another bomb on them. Alright, I'm feeling good now. I came across this video of O'Shea Duke Jackson. I've been watching him for like a while. Makes some really good content. He's a funny guy. He makes me laugh with like the sound effects and everything. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. It's about Chris Rock. Chris Rock's girlfriend is 25 years younger, and we all know who's mad about it. We all know who's mad about it. I haven't even watched this yet. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
In November 1996, the comedian Chris Rock married a lady by the name of Malak Compton, who also became Malak Compton Rock. He was 27 years old and she was 23. The couple raised two daughters during their nearly two-decade marriage, but following an extended separation starting in 2014, their divorce was finalized in August 2016. That should be the end of the video, right? Nope. He gotta get back out there in these streets, says Chris Rock. That brings us to the second chick, Magdalene Woke. Now, Chris Rock was born in 1965. She was born in 1983. And that was his girl for 4 years, 2016 to 2020. But of course, that relationship. So let's stop for a minute. His wife, his ex-wife, is 4 years younger, but this new lady, Magdalene, was 18 years younger. That's a big difference. Let's see if the trend continues, shall we? The next lady we would have is Carmen Ejoko. That was only 8 years younger. Then we have Lake Bell, 14 years younger, so not so bad. But now we have Simone Hinault, who is a creative producer, stylist, and DJ, and she is 25 years younger. Damn. And boy, are the blogs talking about this. Chris Rock has a woman that's old enough to be his daughter. And I've noticed something. A lot of people have a hard time with men in particular.
Before he even gets into it, I already know what's coming. Oh, these men want younger women for control because these girls they're so naive and they don't know as much. They pretty much call these girls like dumb. They're saying men like younger women because they're dumb. That's what they're saying. They're calling these young, so it's like an insult to the men and to the young women. But then they'll say that women should still be allowed to do certain things because they're smart enough. So they're smart enough to vote for the president, and they're smart enough to go get abortions, and they're smart enough to make all of these decisions on their own, but they're just not smart enough because men are just so clever to get into a relationship with a man and stay there. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. When you see women get manipulated every single day by other women, by other men, even by children. Like, kids manipulate their mothers all the time. But we only point it out when it's the man doing it. And who's even to say that where are all these men that are manipulating these? Like, where are they? Where are they? And if that is the case, why do so many younger women like older guys? So if a man likes a younger girl, then he's a manipulator, he's a predator, he's everything under the sun that's negative. But if a young girl likes an older man, what is she? Are you still going to say that she's stupid? If she says, no, I want an older man because he offers structure and security and stability, are you going to say that she is dumb for wanting that? Or should she do what you did and give your best years to men that have nothing, instead of getting with a man who can take care of her right now so that she doesn't have to go through the years of trauma and kissing all these frogs until they get to a prince like you did? A lot of women want women to live the life they did so that they don't feel insecure or inadequate because of the decision making that they did in the past.
Successful men dating younger women.
Men who date significantly younger women, and they're like in their late 30s, early 40s or 50s or whatever, and they're dating women in their 20s who have like no clue about who they are. The reason that they do that there's two reasons. One, they can't find a woman their age who will date them, because women their age find them unattractive, not because of their physical appearance, but because they're not where they're supposed to be in life. Not that it's her race.
So you're telling me that Chris Rock can't find. This is so stupid. You're telling me that Chris Rock and these other highly successful men, they're great in finance and going through life, but they just can't seem to find a girl, a woman their own age who likes them? Or is it more realistic that these men who have all of these resources and they know that they're highly sought after, so they're going to get the prettiest woman that they can find, which typically, not all the time, but which typically, generally speaking, is going to be a younger woman? That's what it is. I get so sick of women telling other people how men think and the psychology. Just come on, man. That makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. That Chris Rock can't find somebody his own age that he wants to date. Younger women are easier to deal with. And then she just said that this man isn't where he needs to be in life, but it's not a race. So who's to say where a man is supposed to be? Show me the playbook where it says at this age a man should have X, Y, and Z. Show me that playbook. You can't. So you can't make that statement saying that these men are not where they're supposed to be. And I guarantee every single time, man, it's not every single time, but majority of the time, it's always old women that don't have a man and that have missed out on their prime years talking and saying that older men should not date younger women. So you want all of these older men with all of these resources to date your old ass? That's not happening. It's not happening, and it never will happen. Leonardo DiCaprio gets a new girl every couple of weeks. Well, not every couple of weeks. Every couple of years. Like once she hits, I think 25, he gets another one. And he doesn't care if y'all talk about him because it doesn't matter. It does. Y'all are just bitter and old.
And then two, there's something really off about them. They're very underdeveloped in a manly way.
Wait a minute. Did she say underdeveloped?
So they have to find somebody who is naive, who is immature, who doesn't know any better.
Aha, I get it. Because see, these men don't want to date women their age because what you're saying is younger women are stupid. And it's not just her that's carrying on this trend on the internet.
They want a doormat. Short and sweet answer, they want a doormat. And a lot of those older men, they try to hide it and disguise it in a way where, man, these younger women, man, they don't come with all of the baggage. They don't come with the trauma. They don't come with all that drama. They're not set in their ways, and they're easier to mold into a doormat.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the f you think you is?
And like men that do this, they come up here and just use the same female talking points. And this man knows, he knows that a lot of men, majority of men, if they want a younger woman, is not just to use them as a doormat to do what? That's what I don't understand. They talk like these women are coming in and doing so much. A doormat for what? What does he want to do to them? For all of these simpy men who say that, an older man only wants a younger girl just so he can use her as a doormat. Like, what the hell are you talking about? A doormat to do what? To do what? What is he going to do with these younger girls that he can't do with a woman to his own age? Because last time I checked, women are still saying guys who are younger than them manipulated them, guys who are the same age manipulated them, and guys who I haven't really heard much about men who are older manipulating young girls. Majority of the time you hear about, well, this guy who was my same age is the one who was doing the cheating, who did all these things, who abused me. You don't hear or see younger girls coming out in droves talking about this man did something to me. This older man used his age and his wisdom to trick me. You do not hear that. But yet and still you have these simpy men who will come out here just so they can be liked by girls, to be looked at as one of the good guys, and they will turn their back on their fellow brethren just to be liked by some women. It's disgraceful. I can't stand it. The Derek Jacksons of the world, the Ace Metaphors, the simpy guys, man, get them out of here.
Yeah, buddy, you're right, man. That godlike intuition is crazy because so many black women in the black community have such great godlike intuition that they literally pick the pastors that take all of their money every Sunday and sometimes take all of their I mean, the sipping is real, but hey, some folks gotta pay bills. But this was a different take.
They want you because you're impressionable. You don't have the experience that they have. I think experience is my biggest issue with it. You're 35, I'm 23. You have a lot more experience over me. So why do you want to come down to where I am? Not necessarily that it's just coming down, but it's just like you have way more wisdom than I do. Why don't you want somebody on your level, if that makes sense? Like, I'm very mature for my age, but that don't mean I want to go date a man that's 10 years older than me right now.
So this lady
So, all right. So, I'm not going to keep on stopping it, but ladies, men in general, if you take a 25-year-old girl and a 25-year-old guy, they're not on the same level. Matter of fact, if you take an 18-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man, they're not going to be on the same level. As a man grows through life, he doesn't get handouts and special treatment and all this help that women do. This is the biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues that I have with women, especially when it comes to dating, because y'all will never look and say, you know what? This man lives a completely different life to me. This is why men lead. If us being the same age means that we have equal, women will look at age and say, well, since he's 24 and I'm 24, then we have the same life experience. That man's like, no, we do not. Because I had to fight, dig myself out of the mud. I had to lose money, earn money, figure out how to do all of these things without you, while you got handouts. You got special treatment just strictly because you're a girl and you were born with your value. I had to go out into the world and create my value. So by sheer life experience, I'm going to know more than you, which is why men lead. This young lady is talking about being on each other's level. You will never, ever, ever, ever be on your man's level. I'm not saying that he's better than you. I'm just saying based off of experience, you will never be on that man's level. Your degrees and shit doesn't matter. You thinking that you are mature for your age doesn't matter. Only results matter. If you were on his level, then you lead the relationship. If you know as much as him, then you lead it. But you're not going to, because you know that he's better equipped for it, which is why a woman wants a man who's already stable and has everything that he needs.
actually had what I consider a real concern. She wasn't saying that she was grossed out by older men, just that you have this advantage over me because you lived a life. So why would you want somebody like me when you can get somebody on your level? And this is important because we see a lot of these successful men who haven't developed, as the woman saying here, who are dating younger women. Like, let's look at Dr. Dre, who's 61 years old. He's a billionaire. He's dating Michelle Sanel. You got Jamie Foxx, who's like 59, and he's dating Alice Huckstep. She's pregnant. That's a 28-year-old difference. I mean, Chris Rock is worth $60 million, and this chick is like 36. So those are three examples of men who are dating younger women. And what's happening here is they're trying to shame these guys for doing it because they don't want to deal with women their age. And I noticed that this is something that really happens a lot in America. Like where I'm at, or even in Poland, it wasn't a big deal for a man to have a 20-year-old difference between a woman that he was dating or marrying. But in America, if you're anywhere over 5 to 10 years, it's a really, really, really big deal. And what is happening with a lot of men is a lot of shaming tactics, saying that the women that are your age, you're not man enough to deal with them. They are more intellectually superior than younger women, and they understand your games. They understand what you're trying to do. So you are running from them because you don't want to be held accountable. But then here's the issue.
I think these women are only talking about the exception of the rule and then trying to turn it into a generalization, because yes, there is a percentage of men who cannot attract women their age, but that doesn't go for most of them. If a man can attract a woman who's younger, then he could attract a woman any age.
Facts.
Right? Because what these women are saying is like, oh, younger women are stupid.
Yes.
Now, shout out to this young lady. Check her out on TikTok. Her name is Jenna Lavina. The thing that I like about what she's saying is that it's actually harder to get with a woman that's younger in America.
Yes.
Typically, women want to impress their friends. I mean, if the guy is like in his 50s or 60s and she's like 20 or 30, like, how do you explain that? It's sort of embarrassing. You know, women try to hide those sorts of relationships typically. So it's easier to deal with somebody your age. But I'll tell you exactly why a lot of men like Chris Rock are dealing with women who are younger and typically childish. Well, the main reason is the younger a woman is, the less likely you have to pay for the mistakes of the men in her life who destroyed her whole entire confidence and ecosystem.
Thank you, O'Shea. Thank you. That's one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reasons, why men prefer younger women. The older you are, the larger the likelihood is that you've had a lot of sex with a lot of men and just heartbreak from dealing with men as you've gotten older. Because you had all this time, so that means you had a lot of a lot of men in your dating life. With that comes a lot of trauma. And women do not deal well with trauma. So they have all this trauma, and then instead of just letting it go, they will carry it into that next relationship with that new man. So that new man's like, well, why would I do that and increase the likelihood that this relationship won't work, because she has all of this drama bringing it into a relationship and she can't let it go, and she's going to hold on to it probably damn near forever until she goes to therapy. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to go and get a younger girl who doesn't have that trauma. She's still feminine. She's still moldable into what I need her to be in order to make the relationship work. When a man says that, women automatically go to, oh, he's controlling. Well, I have to have some type of control in order to keep everybody safe and to keep the ship running the way it's supposed to be ran. I have to. If I'm the leader, if it fails, then everybody's going to look at me. So I have to have a certain amount of control. Meaning, not like, oh, you can't go anywhere. You just have to sit down and shut up and cook and clean, and that's it. That's not what men are saying. But we will tell you, hey, that's too revealing. I can't have you outside in that on, because the way you're represented, you're representing me. So the way people look at you, in turn, they're going to look at me the exact same way. So I need you to be a little bit more modest, a little bit more classy. You can wear that, but when we go somewhere else, just not to this event. That's what men are saying. But women are so chaotic and unstable, they will take that and say, oh, he just don't want me to do anything. And that's why men prefer younger women, on top of them having better bodies, because typically younger women take better care of themselves than older women do. I'm not saying all the time, but if you look at an older woman versus a younger woman, there's no comparison. Generally speaking, there's no comparison.
That's number one. There are a lot of women out here who are exceptionally beautiful, exceptionally fine. I mean, they could be in their 50s or 60s. The reality is, nobody can deal with those problems, okay? Let me give you an example. I got a homeboy. He comes out to Uganda like 2 or 3 months out of the year, and he's almost 40. He has a girlfriend, very beautiful, and he was in a relationship with a woman before in the States. Now, there were some real issues in this relationship. He really wanted to be with her, but what happened is that as she got older, it was just certain things that she wasn't willing to compromise on, and that's fine. But the problem is that at her age, the problems that she was bringing into the relationship, it was not worth it for her age group to him. He would be willing to deal with those problems if that lady was like 23, 24, but he wasn't willing to deal with her problems at 38 or 39. Especially when I gotta provide for you, especially if I'm not happy. Like, why am I dealing with that? And what the reality is that when you deal with somebody older, and that's even me, right? If you're a 40-year-old man, 45-year-old man, you're dealing with somebody younger, you typically need to produce more than a younger man, all right? What older women don't understand is that if you're dealing with a successful man, you need to produce more than a younger woman. So let's say, for an example, if I have to give an allowance out, to a girlfriend or a fiance, and both looks are equal and the attitude is equal, and one lady is 25 years old the other lady is 45 years old, then the lady that's 45 years old, which is my age group, most likely would need to offer a lot more than the person that's 25, because the person that's 25 has the ability to change their aspect about the world to be more favorable towards men, but the lady who is 45 will have a difficult time to do that. So the older women are, and even men are, you got to have more value for the other person. If you don't have value, you got to have something like, typically, fertility. And I know some women have fertility even in their 40s or 50s, but overall fertility. You'd have to have some level of beauty, some level of attractiveness. The problem is that a lot of guys are not going to sit here and deal with your problems. And I know a lot of women want that, but what happens is when these guys get a certain level of success, even above $90,000 or $100,000 a year, and they have their own house, they have their own home, they don't really need to tell you why they're doing it. They're just not going to deal with you, right? And you can shame them into dealing with you.
This is how a lot of ladies get ghosted. That man will go on that first date. He'll figure out who you are. There are two types of ghosters. The first type of ghoster, that man will go on that first date. He sees exactly who you are, sees that you don't look like your pictures or whatever it is, and then he'll just ghost you that way. That's the first thing. The second way you'll get ghosted is a man, he'll see you and he'll know that you aren't what you advertise yourself as to be. So once he does that, he's like, all right, I'm just going to hit it a couple times, or I'm just going to sleep with her until I get sick of her. Then I'm going to ghost her. I don't agree with either one, but this is why a lot of men do it. Don't shoot the messenger.
In having it your way, but they're not going to do that because they don't have to. They're going to go where the opportunities are. And it's the same thing with Chris Rock. Chris Rock ultimately saw something that he didn't like in the age group with his ex-wife and decided that once he saw it, he wanted nothing to do with that ever again. And the closest that he'll get is 8 years, but now he's down to like 25 years of the age difference, and he's never going up probably anymore to 50 or 60. And a lot of that has to do with attitudes towards men in general that are unfavorable, and a lot of guys are trying to get away from what a lot of brothers consider a certain level of female toxicity. I happen to be on MTR stream today, and he's back in Atlanta, and he was talking about the same thing. It's not that the women are not attractive, but just having a negative attitude towards men, it was just so terrible. And you typically see this sort of attitude towards men, typically women of your own generation, which is why men date out, which is why men date younger. Which is why, if you can see with Chris Rock, I mean, the majority of his women outside of his wife have been either mixed or white or something else. And I think that the reason that he would give for it is because of how those women see and deal with men. That's largely what I believe. And ladies, I know you're mad and it's not my fault, but you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more men, if they have the opportunity to date women 15 years younger, 20 years younger.
Listen, ladies, y'all just gotta be mad until the end of time, because this has always been a thing, and it will always be a thing. You know how long women have been complaining about this? You think that this just started happening in 2015? Women have been complaining. More particular, old women have been complaining about the men going and dating younger women since the beginning of time, because they know that their best shot at getting into a relationship is with an older man, because young men don't want them. And even if the young men did want them, they only want them just to have sex with them, and then they can't take care of them. So this old ass woman knows my best shot is probably that other guy who's in his 40s as well, but he wants a 30-year-old. So I'm going to try to shame him into wanting me. That's all it is. It's just shaming tactics so that men will come around and date them. Ladies, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And shame on you for not being happy for the man and woman that found each other, no matter the age gap. As long as nobody's hurting no one else, who cares? And generally speaking, men are not in relationships, no matter the age gap, to hurt the woman that they're with. You delusional Bettys. But guys, that's it for today's concept. If you haven't done so already, hit that hype button, hit that like, spread this video, because it's time. It's time. We need to start standing up for ourselves. Guys, if you want another good video, click this one on your left. If you want a great one, click this one on your right. And I'll see you in another one.